I had the opportunity to work with another company, I walked in and met their new sales leader, and this individual had come in and revamped their compensation plan. There were several things in that new comp plan that I thought were problematic, and one of the things that really stood out to me was that he had changed the compensation plan to not pay the sales reps on the result or the close of the sale. He had changed the comp plan to start to pay the reps based on how many meetings they scheduled.
Mm.
And I'm sorry, it made me laugh again. I when I heard that, I thought, well, that's exactly what he's going to get is a bunch of meetings, and it won't matter. It won't matter if those meetings ever result in anything or if
It's
they're
crazy.
they're any quality. It's just you're going to end up with a whole bunch of meetings. And while you were talking just a second ago, that's what came to my mind was that interaction with that individual. Say it because again, what I want to be looking for in activity is one, is the activity progressing? So am I adding one plus one plus one plus one plus one? So the activity is progressing and my outcome is increasing, right? And or am I just do I just have a random set of ones that aren't really being added together? So living in play. And so I think connecting what you know about the point of friction to that whole exercise is the activity that the sales rep is performing, is that activity removing friction in the sale? Or is the activity creating more friction in the sale? I mean, so there's kind of two different areas in my mind. One is, are you removing friction? Another is, are you creating more friction? And then really the third track is your activity just not doing anything? Is it just not, it's not removing or adding friction to the sale. So it's just sort of that living in play.
I think that that is a recipe for disaster in so many levels because, I immediately start looking at the human element of greed, right? And I mean, if they're getting paid on these things, what's to stop people from being like, hey, you got a meeting with your buddy. Hey, book me a meeting with this guy, this guy, and I'll spiff you on these things. I mean, that'll sink an organization. But that to your next point of making sure that you're moving forward, going back to friction with that. So I mean, uh, one of the core messages here that I would say about removing friction is, the organization that maintains the initiative usually can control the outcome. So you're only going to maintain the initiative if you gain momentum and continue moving forward. You can't just stay in the same spot and pray that the results are going to be there. It's got to be leaning forward. You got to be trying to attack the objective and you got to be able to close it. And the other thing that going back to what we were talking about, like that initial first meeting, I remember hearing a guest on your show a couple episodes back, and he had said, this really resonated with me. And it was because I always heard this, and he said it. And it was people do business with those that they like. Okay. And so you can be liked and you can make a good impression on that first meeting or whatever it is. That's a point of friction. But the next level down, right, to go deeper to that is people do business with those that they trust. And earning that trust is a big point of friction. You might have surface level trust, right? However, you got to really garner that and work to gain true trust and confidence in yourself as a rep or as an organization and whatnot. And it can be destroyed pretty quickly. So that is a level of friction that I'd like to talk about or just mention because I think it's really important to remove that. And that's a place that's at the very beginning of the sales process when you're meeting with folks that you want them to trust you and know that you are reliable and dependable.